All right, my name is Scott Michael Dan. I'm a gunnery sergeant. I'm 2140, which is an amphibious assault vehicle repairman. But my current billet right now is the 3rd Maintenance Battalion Training Chief.
Okay.
Been on island for just a hair over 3 years. Scuba diving, I got started in September of 2015. I'm a dive master, a master scuba diver, and I'm advanced EAN tech diver. It's a big passion of mine. I'm always out in the ocean. I try to get as many people out there to explore the wonders of the water, because there's so much to see out there, so much history here in Okinawa. All right, the day started out, we met in the Cape Maida parking lot with our students. My wife gave the dive brief, what was going to go on with the rescue class. We geared up, did our buddy checks, and then we proceeded down to the water. Once we got in the water, we went over to the right for our first dive, and we executed some of our first skills that we have to do for the rescue diver course. We were down for about an hour or so, came up, and then did our surface interval, and then we geared back up, did buddy checks again, went down for our second dive for the second series of skills that we have to do. We went to the left this time, and then once we finished our skills that we had to do, we were on our way back and noticed another scuba group that was heading down the wall edge. My wife and the other dive master had the 2 students. They were up about 60 feet, and I was down looking at some stuff around 80 feet when I noticed the other group, and the female, she had her mask, she ripped her mask off and looked like she might have been panicking, but I thought maybe they were doing some training. So I was like, I just kept an eye on it, and then I seen her, they put her mask back on, and I seen her rip out her regulator. That concerned me. They put the regulator back in, and then she ripped off both mask and regulator, and that's when I hurried up and I swam over there. I was probably 30 feet from approximately. Once I got over there, I put the regulator back in her mouth, and they already put the mask back on, and she spit the regulator out, closed her mouth. So I put the regulator up to her teeth, and once the regulator hit her teeth, she opened her mouth up, and I pushed the regulator all the way in and held it there. Grabbed her arm, and I signaled to the dive leader that we need to go up. We proceeded in a slow, steady ascent. That way we wouldn't get our decompression sickness. Once we reached the surface, I grabbed her low pressure inflator hose, put some air in her BCD so she would float. And then she was pale, her lips were blue, her eyes were rolled in the back of her head. She was foaming from the mouth, and she was unresponsive. At that time, checked her breathing. She had slow, shallow breathing, then proceeded to tow her into shore. While towing her in, checking, make sure that she's still breathing. It did not provide CPR because she was breathing. Once we got to shore, I took her gear off of her, and then I took my fins off. I still had my gear on, and I put her over my shoulder to carry her up to go up the stairs, and I slipped on the bank, and I slipped back down in the water, and that kind of did like a semi-Heimlich maneuver to her, and it made her throw up. From there, she threw up twice, and that got most of the water that was in her belly out. Proceeded up the stairs with her, and then once we got to the first level at Maida Point, was able to lay her down on her left side. That way if she threw up, she wouldn't choke on it. Checked her, make sure that she's breathing. She was breathing slow, shallow still. She threw up a little bit more up on the stairs, and then I put head over on her side to make sure that, check her lungs for if you could hear gurgling or any fluids in there. Everything sounded normal. So when I was trying to take her up the stairs, my wife proceeded to run up to the car, grab her phone, call EMS, and then she also grabbed the O2 kit and brought it down. Once she brought the O2 kit down, applied that to the victim, and once about 10-15 minutes with that on the victim, she was coming around getting color. Prior to that, asked the victim a few questions. She wouldn't talk, she would just shake her head up and down. And once the O2, the oxygen kit was on her, she was able to respond, and asked her if she knew where she was. She stated she was in Okinawa. Asked her how many fingers she was holding up. She said 2. And so she was getting better, which was a good feeling, because when she first came up out of the water, we thought that we had a dead lady on our hands. Okay, I actually kind of surprised myself. I remained real calm. As soon as the second time that I seen the mask and regulator come out of her mouth, I knew that I seen panic in her face. Being that we just went over it, I've done it many times, practicing. I knew that something was wrong, so that's why I went over to assist, because I think the other divers, they were all pretty much open water divers, so they haven't had any training except for the dive lead. The training helped because I have quite a few different certifications, and being the more education you have diving and follow what your instructors teach you, it helps you remain more calm. That's the main thing underwater scuba diving, is staying calm and not panicking, not rushing, because that's when you're going to get hurt. Well, to be honest with you, while I was doing it, it was like instinct. It didn't really hit me till about 3 to 4 hours after, when I was talking with the Japanese police, and then I was talking with the Coast Guard after that. Then I realized what actually really happened, that a young lady's life was saved, and I found out that the Friday prior that she just married her husband and that they were on their honeymoon. So it made me feel really good that they get to spend their life together and enjoy it. And then I got an update that she wants to still continue to scuba dive, which made me happy that we get to keep her in the scuba family. Well, I'm going to continue my education, try to get some more certs under my belt. I encourage people to get scuba certified. For one, it improves your confidence in the water. 2, you never know when you're able to save someone, whether it's underwater or above water. Even if someone can't swim, being scuba certified, you have mast fins and snorkel on, you're able to swim, and you have a buoyancy control device on your body, so it's like a life jacket. Builds your confidence. So I'm not going to really change anything that I do. Keep trying to educate people, keep spreading the word on people to get certified, continuing education, and to remain calm when you're in the water.